We turn now to Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. He joins us from London. Good morning to you, Senator.
Thank you.
I know you were at those D-Day remembrances earlier in the week, and you met with President Zelensky as well. He has asked for more training for his forces and for that to happen faster and inside of Ukraine. Do you support the U.S. doing that?
Yes, I do support us training inside the country. You know, the delay in weapons because of House inaction, we did lose momentum. But from the very beginning, the Biden administration, they did not impose pre-invasion sanctions to deter Putin. They didn't give weapons to Ukraine early on to deter Putin. And now we've got a chance to reset this war that they have the weapons. Here's what he wanted most of all: for us to go after the Russian assets all over the world, take the money from the sovereign wealth funds of Russia and give it to Ukraine. There's $300 billion sitting in Europe from Russian sovereign wealth assets that we should seize and give to Ukraine. We have Russian money in America we should seize. We should make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law. When I suggested that to President Zelensky, he lit up like a Christmas tree. Making Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law would be a very big blow to Russia.
Right. I don't know that the Biden administration would sign off on that, though. But in terms of what you just mentioned,
they won't.
with the assets, President Biden did say this morning he had reached an agreement with President Macron of France on the use of profits from those frozen Russian assets to help Ukraine. I know the Europeans haven't wanted to go ahead and seize assets because it would hurt their banks.
Yeah. Well, they want to use the interest to help you. Either we're going to help Ukraine or we're not. It's now time to give them the F-16s, let them fly the planes, long-range artillery to hit targets inside of Russia, go after Putin's assets wherever they're at, all over the world, go on the offensive. I think this summer, Ukraine will regain military momentum. Everything we've done with Ukraine has been slow, it's been indecisive. But if we went after the assets that Putin has all over the world, take his money that's stolen from the Russian people and help the victims in Ukraine, I think it would do a lot to end this war.
Your Republican colleague, Senator Tommy Tuberville, just this past week said on Steve Bannon's show that Volodymyr Zelensky is a dictator and unconstitutional. And he said this about Vladimir Putin.
He doesn't want Ukraine. He doesn't want Europe. Hell, he's got enough land of his own. He just wants to make sure that he does not have United States weapons in Ukraine pointing at Moscow.
Those echo some Russian talking points, Senator. I wonder if those remarks from your fellow senator represent the GOP.
No, it represents him and him alone. If you spend 15 minutes studying Putin and what he wants to recreate the Russian Empire. He's not going to stop in Ukraine. We celebrated the 80th anniversary of D-Day. It was a failure. It was the unnecessary war described by Winston Churchill. We had a dozen chances to stop Hitler. It's not about NATO, it's not about American weapons in Ukraine. It's about a megalomaniac wanting to create the Russian Empire by force of arms. If you don't stop him, there goes Taiwan. So we've been slow as hell of helping Ukraine, but Senator Tuberville's analysis really misses what Putin's all about. He's an outlier, I think, in the Republican Party. I like him personally. But what did Trump do to get the weapons flowing? He created a loan system. They're sitting on $10 to $12 trillion of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of. That $10 to $12 trillion of critical mineral assets could be used by Ukraine and the West, not given to Putin and China. This is a very big deal. How Ukraine ends. Let's help them win a war we can't afford to lose. Let's find a solution to this war. But they're sitting on a gold mine to give Putin $10 or $12 trillion of critical minerals that
Yep.
he will share with China is ridiculous.
I want to get to the Middle East with you as well. Later today, Benny Gantz, one of the ministers in Prime Minister Netanyahu's war cabinet, is expected to announce his resignation, which he has previously said would happen if he wasn't handed a day after plan. The defense minister has also said there is no planning for the day after happening. Where is this headed?
I think Mr. Gantz will withdraw from the war cabinet, but Bibi will still have a majority. I like Benny Gantz. Here's what I found on my last trip to Israel just a few days ago. There's universal opposition to creating a Palestinian state by all levels of Israeli society if it is seen as a reward for terrorism of October the 7th. The day after plan, when Hamas is destroyed militarily and they no longer can threaten Israel, needs to be a negotiation between Israel and Saudi Arabia and the UAE to come up with a plan for Gaza and the West Bank to give the Palestinians hope and a better life and secure Israel. That is the only plan I see working. You cannot occupy, Israel can't, in my view, permanently Gaza. That will be a disaster for Israel.
Well, Prime Minister
So the
Netanyahu
hope for
hasn't
the
said
day
that
after,
clearly yet, that he would not seek to occupy.
He's coming July the 24th. I've spent a lot of time with Bibi. He is right to want to make sure there will be no stop to this war until Hamas is destroyed militarily and cannot threaten another October 7th. I've had very detailed discussions with the Prime Minister and with the Crown Prince and this administration. I believe there will be forming in the next week.
I want to talk to you more about this.
There will be a plan coming about.
All right, we have to talk more about this on the other side of the commercial break, though, so just give me a minute or two, and we'll be right back.